All right. We got a lot of great things coming this week, but I wanted to upload this full live stream because it's not on YouTube. So wanted to help out those people that just don't want to watch on Twitch or whatever. So if you do appreciate this, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. Also subscribe because we got more Killer Klowns news and updates and more gameplay coming this week. And again, if you have not seen the other videos I break down, check out those after you're done with this live stream. Anyways, you guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
Let's just make sure all of our mics are on. Make sure that light in front of you is green. If it isn't, hit push.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
That's on.
Green.
Nope. No, at the front.
No, I think I'm good.
Oh, now I'm good.
Now you're
There we go. All right, welcome everybody to Kyoto Brothers and Ilphonic Talk Killer Klowns.
Killer Klowns from outer space. Holy, yeah.
I'm super excited to be here. My name's James Willems. I'm going to be moderating this panel. I'm a fan of both things in the title of this in this panel, so I'm really excited to be here and kind of pick the brains of everyone on this panel. The Kyoto Brothers, the creators of Killer Klowns from Outer Space, are going to be here, of course. So I just want to, everyone here knows who we are, but I'm just going to make sure we do. So we got the Kyoto Brothers, Stephen, Edward, Charles. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for inviting us.
We're also joined by Jared Gerritsen, Chief Creative Officer at Ilphonic. Oh, big pop, big pop. And Jordan Matheson, Design Director at Ilphonic. So, I feel like everyone remembers the first time they saw Killer Klowns. I know for me, I was probably way too young and sitting way too close to the Zenith television in my living room, okay? But I was kind of scared and confused at the same time. And I wasn't confused because I didn't understand it. I got it. It's a great movie and I loved it. But it's because I hadn't seen anything quite like it before, right? Like, and it stuck with me. I remember thinking about it years and years later and being like, what was the candy, like they were stuck in candy. I remember faces in candy. I remember noses popping. I remember everything so viscerally. But yeah, it's because of its utterly unique style. I would say one of a kind, but I guess 3 of a kind is more appropriate. It's a creativity that I think is synonymous with the 3 of you. And I'm just really excited. It kind of brings me to my first question is, what was your inspiration for Killer Klowns?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I guess it began with me. I was trying to imagine the scariest, most frightening moment I could experience. And for me, it was driving down a lonely mountain road at night and having a car pass me, and when I looked to see who the driver is, it was a clown. And a clown being where it shouldn't be really frightened me. And then we build upon that.
What we wanted to do is Kyoto Brothers put a Kyoto spin on it. Clown movies had been done before. We wanted to do something different. We wanted to do something different than a man wearing makeup. So we love monster movies. We wanted to make monster clowns. So they came from outer space.
Yeah, so the idea is like, all right, what if that clown after midnight is pretty scary anyway, but then what if he wasn't in a car? What if he was just like floating in space?
Yeah, and, if it floats, it has to be from outer space.
And then if a clown is from outer space, why are they here? Certainly not to entertain us, but to kill us.
Well, then the list of things, you make a list of everything that you think is sweet and fun and friendly. You make a list of cotton candy, Slurpees, and all kinds of circus things, and then you put an evil spin on it. You know, it's why they have, you know, evil ventriloquist dummies and stuff like that. Well, we did it with clowns.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, what we really did was we wanted to make a film that we wanted to see.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And the raw material was all the films we watched as kids, the 50s and 60s sci-fi movies. But again, that spin, it was a mixture of those sci-fi films, plus Warner Brothers Looney Tunes, the Marx Brothers, and what else? A bunch of other things.
Yeah, Abbott Costello, Laurel and Hardy, all the old-time comedians and stuff. The Looney Tunes, more than anything. Bugs Bunny and all.
Yeah, if you look at the movie, The Forbidden Planet, The Blob, lean heavily on The Blob.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So many inspirations. And actually, The Blob, the through line for the entire story happening in one night, was from the original Blob with Steve McQueen. Check it out. It's our blueprint for our story.
Yeah, the horrible monster, young teenagers witness it, try to tell the authorities something horrible is happening, and they don't believe it.
No, that was the thing. Try to convince the authorities that aliens are killing people is hard enough. We said, we'll put a Kyoto spin on it. What if we make the aliens absurdly ridiculous and try to convince the authorities of that, killing people with cotton candy and popcorn?
And I think what really helped the overall storytelling was the fact that we played it really straight, that it wasn't a parody. Yeah. It was real drama, real terror, real threat, but the threat happened to be aliens from another planet.
Yeah, Stephen, what did you have to tell Suzanne in the bathroom?
What was that?
What did you have to tell Suzanne when the Jack in the Box clowns were coming out of the hamper and she said, I can't be afraid of these things. They're too funny.
She was laughing.
That was it. Yeah, it was. She's a great actress, but yeah, she's over there by herself that day and in the bathroom with all these little killer Jack in the Boxes, and she just couldn't get the energy up. She could not get the fear, and she said, "I can't. These things are too funny." And then I pulled an Alfred Hitchcock on her. I said, "You're an actress. Act."
And she did.
I mean, kind of speaking of funny versus scary, I don't have the statistics to prove this, but I'm going to try with the room real quick. Who here thinks clowns are scary as shit? And who here thinks they're lovable and funny? Yeah, way more people think they're scary. Yeah. But I feel like that was the cultural shift that happened when your movie came out.
Well, the people that raised their hand the second time, they frightened me.
It's funny, even clowns get it. Just about every clown we ever talked to are huge fans of the movie, except that one guy. He thought it was going to be, the kiddies might get confused. Well, actually, I'm looking at you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little nervous.
Trans World Entertainment was sued by Larry Harmon, the creator of Bozo, because they mistakenly did a publicity piece in one of the fan magazines, and they used the word bozo, and he felt that they besmirched his beloved clown icon, and they had to pay him off.
Yeah, but the clown that we call Bozo on the set, we changed his name to Ozob.
Yeah.
So Larry Harmon got like $50K.
Like go away money.
Question for Jared and Jordan. I'm just curious, what was your touch point for this film?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I had to turn on my mic. Yeah, go for it.
No, you go first. Mine's better.
I mean, he'll follow it up. It'll be much better. But I was fortunate enough to see it as an adult, which meant that I got to really appreciate it and really see the detail and the creativity and the uniqueness that these guys brought to the screen that just wasn't really being done. And to be able to kind of combine those elements together and see it in action, and then be able to, of course, work on the game for it has been incredible. So I have a very positive thing in my life now. How about you?
It was 1988. A young 12-year-old was going out with his babysitter because his parents were drunks and they wanted to go on party. It was 1988. Just remember that. So I go to a film. I'm expecting to see something about 3 lost dogs finding their home or some shit like that. some cool old school cartoon. No, it's Killer Klowns. And I don't know what it is. So I'm like the people in the movie where I'm like, what is this? What's going on? Wait a minute. Oh, fuck. What's going on? And the little girl that's going out of the burger joint, getting lured out, that drilled into my brain. And it's still today, it's still in there where it's like, that was the first time that I ever saw something where it's like, wait a minute, they're gonna, oh, it cut. What happened to her? Is she dead? Am I gonna die now? And then the movie just kept going. And then I'm hiding under a jacket. And years and years later, I see that this game gets announced and I am now an adult. But seeing that trailer that TerraVision put out was like, okay, this is going to be really interesting. I'm really excited, and it is just one of those funny things for me to be fully. I almost said touched by the Kyoto Brothers as a child.
No, don't say that.
It wasn't me.
Don't.
It wasn't me.
For the record, I was never touched by the Kyoto Brothers as a child. I was negatively influenced by the Kyoto Brothers, and you know, now
In a positive way.
in a positive way, and now I get to be around these guys that I've been seeing for many decades, doing all these great things and getting to work with them, and so it's really cool to get to be doing this with them and getting to understand a lot of their subcontexts of the Klowns and the universe and the Klowns and the things that they weren't able to do at the time, and being able to show them what we're able to do with the Unreal Engine and just technology but yes, once again, Kyoto Brothers did not touch me as a child.
Yeah, we got it.
Now, this is many people have made wonderful films that don't get recognized. We were in that group. It just, you know, we thought we did something really good, but it wasn't recognized. And sometimes it takes a while for things to build. We were fortunate enough to have people like Jared and TerraVision and, you know, MGM finally having someone who said, I loved this movie as a kid. We have to do something with it. So that's all it takes. You have to be lucky enough to someone to be sitting at the other side of the table and recognize that they have something special.
Well, I think it's interesting because you guys were kind of on the cutting edge of a technology in terms of how you made the film at the time, and now to see it become a video game. How has that felt?
Oh, it's a dream come true. I mean, all these years we were trying to get something going as a sequel or something like that. And Hollywood's really kind of difficult business to kind of work your way through. I think the game is really a great way to launch it. It gives us an opportunity to really expand the scope and the characters, and the gameplay is more interactive, and I think it's really going to it's going to make our current fans happy, and it's going to bring in a whole new group of people into our clown sphere.
Yeah, the evolution from going from just a single movie to the cult status, the midnight screenings, the festivals we go to, the convention appearances, and there's a love that we get from you guys that you want to see more and more. And now with the gaming industry where it is, it's really kind of the perfect storm from like a consumer product standpoint, all the licensing, all the materials. I see a lot of clown T-shirts out there, and now with this particular gameplay that Ilphonic is really kind of on the cutting edge, pushing it. The game is the perfect, evolution of the movie in terms of that when people come up to us, they ask about a sequel, more stuff, and they say, if you got to do this, I got to be in this movie, I got to be a clown, I want to kill people. And then like the other half of the people are saying, I want to be killed by a clown, I want to feel, I want to be cocooned. And that's exactly what this game is. You get to live that experience, hunting people and hunting clowns. It's just a blast.
Being cocooned from behind. No, it's Ilphonic now. Ilphonic took our simple film made in the 80s on film without video assist, and they showed us what it should look like. So we're real encouraged that we can do something great with Killer Klowns in the next few years.
And the game is much scarier than the movie.
Yeah. No, and it's exciting too, because again, it's kind of raising the bar on what we want to do. If we're ever fortunate enough to do more on the entertainment side, Klowns will still be practical, but we fully intend to take advantage of all the digital tools out there.
Yeah,
and
to all the
kick ass.
Yeah, to all the fans, we've always used the old school and new school bag of tricks, special effects, whatever it takes to bring a character to life, we'll use. And we hope you don't get mad at us, but we'll always be practical because that's where we come from. The real thing, things you get your hands on and touch. I didn't touch that clown.
Jared and Jordan, I'm curious, what was the process like collaborating with the Kyoto Brothers on this game?
Well, we really lucked out because TerraVision started the train, and we met them when they announced, and luckily enough, we became friends with them. And because of our history of the asymmetrical game space, we were able to kind of talk with them and give them feedback, and all of these stars started to align, and we were able to, jump on that train with them and become the publisher and co-developer. And so they started a lot of that stuff, but then it's just like that growth into everything that we're now doing.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to just referencing this amazing piece of original source material. Like it's always, sometimes there's multiple things, and this one has something that's existed for so long that we get to tap into. And it's been so amazing to be able to look and see what was there and really translate that into a feeling, to make sure that, we want to hit both sides of this, because not only are we recreating and kind of giving you the access to be a clown and kind of explore that side of this movie, but you were also trying to make sure that as a human, you're feeling what you felt originally when watching that, or when you step into the shoes of the invasion of the survivors. Like what would you want to do in this situation? Like you'd want to fight back, and you'd want to escape, and we really wanted to push the limits of that to make sure that you had that feeling of the game that just felt like you were a part of the film.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to, what you don't get in a theater. You basically sit back and enjoy and visualize, what the vision that's on the screen. But now with the game, you're actually in it, and you're feeling everything that a victim, like a Suzanne or a Mike or a Debbie would feel in the movie. And you're in the moment, and that's something beyond being in a film. And that's what's exciting about the gaming possibility here.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's early on when we were approached, we heard they were licensed for the video game. There's a little bit of trepidation, like, wow, what is their take on it? Because so often creative people want to be creative, but it started with TerraVision and followed through with IllFonic, because they loved the original movie. So they honored us by studying the film, going by frame. So when you're in the game, there are touchstones, like key moments where you're in the movie. You're at the police station. You're at the crazy house in the carnival setting. You're at Makeout Point in the hillside. So they honored our vision and wanted kind of our blessing on what they were doing. And there were minor little notes here and there, just to kind of, maybe with a little bit of sensibility, but visually they were like 99.99% there.
Yeah, it's nice when they're on board, the person that's there get it. And said, we want to remake Killer Klowns, but we want to do it with mimes. And we go, no, just like, and we've been approached to do some things, and they were taking it to another place, and it wasn't Killer Klowns. And the worst thing to do is you have to feel like you have to fight with people to retain something. It's so nice to collaborate where people understand and are on the same page.
Are there any little things, I'm just curious, in your experience with the game, are there any little things that you found where you're like, what is that? And then someone's like, well, it's from this thing in your movie. Like, because you know how ravenous fan bases, people here, I'm sure they can nitpick apart like Killer Klowns. Maybe some people have seen it more than any of you have, possibly, right? Like, are there any little things, like as you were playing the game, where you're like, oh, what's this? And they're like, oh, we added this thing in because it's a reference to that.
Well, I didn't see anything that was particularly referenced to what you're describing, but as I'm playing the game, I'm watching the clowns, and they would do a movement of some kind that just resonated, and I said, oh, that's a Killer Clown. So that was it, the movement, the atmosphere. Crescent Cove is beautifully rendered, and it has mists and fog and atmosphere. I wish we had that in our movie. But no, overall, this is my happy face. I'm very happy with what the guys produced.
Yeah, no, and just the expansion of the world. Like, again, I wish we had an amusement park to play with when we shot the movie. It's just a great playground, literally. And then, like, the extension of the weapons capabilities and variations. It's just a lot of fun to play with. You get to shoot cotton candy cocoon at people, shoot a popcorn gun, wind it up, and shoot popcorn.
Yeah, but you get hit in the face if you're a clown, you know? I could beat up. It's, it's a lot of different experiences, and they're all fun.
Yeah, it's a great entry movie or a game too. Although it's violence, it's clowns and it's make-believe. It's not hardcore realistic violence that's all too prevalent in the world today. Killer Klowns is a nice escape. Everybody wants to beat up a clown, and
Or kill a clown.
and the survival aspect of it is something that you should all learn, just in case we do get invaded by killer clowns from outer space, and you know how to escape.
Jared and Jordan, I'm curious, are there any no compromise, this must be in the game elements for the game that you were like, if it's not, then it's not Killer Klowns?
I mean, we lucked out because the big thing was the clowns needed to be horrifying, and they needed to be the great way that they were, and we really did luck out by having some amazing artists on the team from TerraVision, and then the Elphonic guys came in and we added more and more and more, but the clowns needed to be horrifying. I do feel like our loading screen, when we first joined, it was using footage from the film, and we've been replacing all of that with the clown models. And I do feel that when I sit there and I'm on a call and it's scrolling, it is like when you really look at it, you get the unsettling of the original clowns and how they are just really, really ugly, and you don't want to see them without their makeup on. And it's just one of those things where I think that the clowns, the clown design, I still remember just being like, that is not something I want to look at. And it was really cool to have you guys make these monsters, these creatures that still stand up all this time later. Because I mean, if you look at a lot of the horror films, and we are we've made a lot of horror games, and we know horror very well. But if you look at that era, there's a lot of things that just fall apart. But those clowns still, to this day, stand up so well. And that was a major, major thing for me, to just make sure that those were as good as they are. And, team effort for sure, but it's still based off of what you guys made and created so long ago.
No, we appreciate that, and it's a thrill to have something that affects so many people. It's like humbling that these clowns will be around long before, long after we're gone. It's something that will live on for generations and generations, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I knew needed to be at its best was I really felt, Jared makes a great point, as the kind of the top element to get that feel and that look and that terror and absurdity, but also I really felt, just for the asymmetrical genre, I think the player agency to fight back was a really big part of this, because it is such a big part of the movie that you discover they discover that they can fight back. It's not very effective, obviously, and it can be difficult, and you need the right tools, which is part of the gameplay. But I just felt that was an important part of this, to make sure that the gameplay could be balanced in a way that is fun for both sides, and in a unique way too.
Are there any gameplay elements that you feel like because obviously games are very different than movies, and you have to figure out how to fill in those gaps in many ways. Are there any gameplay elements that you feel like you brought to the table with this that really exemplify the spirit of Clowns? Not clowns in general, specifically the killer ones.
I feel like with the game, it's the process of cotton candying these people and preparing them and walking around and hooking them, that is just something that I remember being so just wow, that would suck. And so in the game, it is that moment of oh my god, I'm getting cotton candied, and now hopefully someone can save me, or maybe I grab something to cut myself out. And then that is, I feel like, the big thing, that it's one of those funny scenarios, is that is fun gameplay that was designed before anything like this existed. And so it is always fun for us to look at the IPs that we're working with and figure out those fun gameplay elements that you can do over and over again, that it's just truly part of you see it in the film over and over again. And I felt like the process of the clowns, lumbering around with cotton candy and hooking it up, and that was a really kind of fun element that needs to be there. But of course, smashing someone with a mallet's always fun. Knocking someone's block off with the boxing gloves, and just, anything to do really with Shorty is always, that's just
fun.
Gonna be a fan favorite, but it's also just like something you don't see. You just don't see a Shorty-esque character in video games nowadays. So,
What I enjoyed is you captured all of the, let's say, the horror and the comedy from the movie, and you created an immersive experience. The fact that you get cocooned, it's quite thrilling, and the fact that you can escape if you have the proper tool with you is it's really interactive.
Yeah, I mean, some of these games tend to be pretty bloody, and this is pretty bloody. But there's that added a little element of like when a clown's beating you to hell to death with a mallet, there's confetti, sparkles, streamers, fireworks.
That was a huge part. That was my first call with you guys when we joined the project, and we were talking about it, and we were showing you guys stuff, and it was something that you brought up as a Kyoto add to it, where it's like, hey, it's all bloody. We understand that you need to do that, but what if you did this thing where you had the confetti and all of that stuff? And I remember going back to the team and saying, hey, this is from the Kyotos. We should add this. And when we got it in, it was like, yeah, that adds something different. I don't see that in the previous games that we've done. There is this layer of, we've all played games where bang, blood, whatever. But like now there's this thing where you see these, like this visceral moment, but it has this layer of just like confetti and sparkles, like what the fuck's going on here? But it just adds to that, very absurd, layer of Killer Klowns. And honestly, like it's just one of those things where if we were in the same position with a different IP, I don't think we would have, been connected to it. I think it is just the idea of the absurdity of Killer Klowns, the things that we can get away that are still in canon of the universe. It's such a fun game to be able to be a part of.
Well, it captures that essence of what the clown experience is. The idea in the movie, you see a clown, and clowns are happy, fun. Parents willingly give their children over to clowns, and then in our movie, our clowns, once you do that, you get close enough, you realize they're not normal, and you're done. It's too late. They've got you. So again, it's always like in a clown kill, that moment when somebody's being killed, that first instinct is to laugh because it's funny what they're doing to you, but then like a split second later, there's that realization that you're dead, and you're dead in a very violent and gruesome manner.
Yeah, in our career, we were asked to do, violence and gore, and we swayed away from that because the movies we grew up with didn't have that gore, but still were very frightening and effective. So it was a little bit of, we were concerned about, for a game, which a horror game company, and the fans of, gamers, horror gamers, that they're going to need a little bit more of that. So we wanted to just stress that we want to make it a little more playful, and instead maybe of blood spurting, violently, that maybe we could make playful little bubbles of blood come out and then pop. And the thing is, we wanted to make it different than any other kind. The clowns kill you in ways that are different than any way else. So we wanted to distinguish our clowns from the other adult horror games, and I think it's being done very well.
I just want to go down the table real quick and just ask, because you have the choice to play as a human or a clown. What do you pick?
Oh, that's tough. They're two different experiences. Clown is really, really fun. You have a choice of weapons. You have a balloon dog. I even tried the car. I crashed a lot. There's such a variety of playful killing mechanisms. That's really, really a lot of fun. And you come back a couple of times too, so you can play again and again, even within the time period of one game.
I guess I prefer a clown because maybe I'm a little better at it. When I play as a human, my anxiety level, my blood pressure is through the roof.
No, I think it depends on the mood that you're in. If you just want to, go out and wholesale, have fun and cocooning human beings and chasing them, running them over with a car with no you choose that. But then again, there's the challenge of, do you have it in you in case of a clown invasion? Would you be able to escape? So there's the two different frames of mind that you go into when you play this game. And, it depends on the mood you're in.
Yeah, and for me, it really depends on the mood. Is Jordan across the team for me? Or, 'cause, I mean,
That's an important element. There's a
rivalry is
yeah.
huge to multiplayer games. But yeah, I mean, I think that it really depends on the mood. But I think that what the goal is to make two very fun and different, styles of play. And, if you want to outsmart your friends or shit talk your friends over VoIP, it depends on what side they're on.
That's going to be the coolest element, being able to do the voice and talk to each other, and
Oh, yeah.
that's going to add just a huge dynamic in live play.
Well, that's where teamwork comes in. As a human, if you don't work as a team, you're dead. Being able to communicate who has what in order to escape is really kind of fun.
The game allows you to make your own killer clown movie every day.
Yeah, and it's always fun to play human. I'd feel like if we were trying to describe the feeling of what the movie is, like that's definitely the perspective to take, and you jump in, and there's been so many times, like we play test all the time, varying degrees of rivalry and challenge, and it just depends on the day, but it never gets old in this game when you are being chased, or sometimes you're not being chased and you're hiding in a bush or you're hiding in a dumpster, and you see these just clowns just drift by. And you get that feeling that you would feel if you were ever trying to evade these things. And it's just that magical moment that is the culmination of that 36 years of thought process and things that drove you guys to make the original movie is now something that we've been able to hopefully recapture for as many people as possible in a completely different way.
Yeah, the immersion of it is amazing. Because look at the size of the screens now that you're watching it on. We used to watch, on a little television set. You used to see it, or on a gamer there. You can see it on a 75-inch screen now, full color. Amazing sound. It's a real neat experience.
It's interesting because I've been lucky enough to play it with the two of you. I haven't played it with you guys. I'd love to try, but and it's funny because I recall there was a time where I was a clown and you guys were humans, but the way you tormented me was fun, right? Like you would think the clown is the relentless pursuer, right? And I'm like torturing you or taunting you, but the way you were able to hide and whisper to each other, and I definitely recommend everyone try it at least once. All players are all communicating with each other, but it was a kind of fun twist.
You'll have to play with the Kyoto Brothers so you too can be touched by the Kyoto Brothers.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Did I just make a new merch line for you guys?
Oh, God, I hope not.
I hope not.
Well, obviously, there's so much potential with this game, so this is for everyone. Like, how do you feel like this game really builds on the world of the movie, and are there ways you would like it to continue to do so?
What, the expanding clown universe?
Oh, yeah, well.
There's implication of a clown planet, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Well, we've been working on this thing for 36 years. Ever since we made the original film, we always had ideas to do a sequel or some other format to get the Clowniverse out there to everybody. So we have a bunch of ideas, and we're looking forward to working with Ilphonic to get those ideas out as a video game, the way it's being done right now. And I think if we could excite the game world, the game fans, to be attracted to the film, I think it only increases the opportunity that we might do something larger. We would love to do a mini-series, maybe a 6-episode mini-series to get the ongoing saga of what the clowns do, where they come from, what happened to Mike, Debbie, and Dave. These are questions I'm sure you're asking yourself.
Yeah. And the world at large and the universe beyond.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, as far as me, it is just one of those exciting, things because it is making me an Uber fan, and it is one of those things where working with you guys and talking about the other phases of what the clowns are, and you guys clearly think about it a lot still, and just all of the cool ideas that you've been bringing. And, we will continue to support the game, after launch and bring a lot of really cool things that we're working with you guys. So, hopefully it does become something that it can be, driven more. But, it is just one of those exciting elements to be working directly to with the creators and the people that put their heart and souls in it for so long. It is an extreme joy for us.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And the possibilities are just endless. And it really comes down to something where we not only want to bring the idea and the concept of Killer Klowns to more people. The fact that it's spanned this multi-generational entertainment, it's such an incredible thing to be a part of. But we also want to use everything that we've learned from our previous experiences with these types of games to really kind of bring the asymmetrical genre in a way that resonates with gamers and allows for a lot more people to jump in and play and have that extremely fun experience, not only because of the way that we put it together, but the way that we've reflected and kind of captured what the original film did.
And finally, we'll be able to answer those questions. I know you're asking, what happens to the people that are in the balloons? And, if they're dissolved in the pink cotton candy cocoons, what about the blue cotton candy cocoons or the purple cotton candy cocoons? Those questions must be answered, and they will be.
You could you could spend an entire lifetime trying to find some creative partners that kind of get what you're doing. And we were very fortunate. It took 36 years, but we're very fortunate to work with Ilphonic, a team that really gets what's at the core of Killer Klowns. It's scary and fun.
Yeah, Jordan, you mentioned the history of asymmetrical games, and there's so many ways to do that. So how is your approach? How did you figure out how you wanted to make something utterly unique, but then also that speaks to the property that you're working with?
I think it was a really good choice for the 3v7. That's something that we came into, and it really worked for multiple reasons. And I think it kind of opens up the possibilities of what we're capable of when it comes to balancing something that is the most difficult part about an asymmetrical game is getting a balance that feels and is fun and still allows people not only an entry level kind of exposure to it, but people to be able to dive into it and just spend time learning everything about it and coming to that point where they really enjoy that. So it's definitely given us the opportunity to really build off of that and use that to our advantage so that we could really, look to see what the possibility of 3 killers brings us, because it just opens up that gate of it's no longer stuck and focused on one person's performance. It now becomes a team effort, and that has a really good place in this game, and it allows us to do so many more things on both sides to make sure that is going to hopefully redefine what people think of when it comes to asymmetrical.
Yeah, see, I'm amazed that the video game technology is all about math. And I'm going, boys and girls, remember, math is important.
I'm just curious, which clown, when you're playing the game, which clown are you picking?
What's his name? My favorite. Slim, or no, Spiky. That's the one. And he's got the popcorn gun, and
I see a lot of Spike on a lot of players Spike.
He's great. He's really evil.
Yeah, and I've been enjoying playing as Jumbo, which is actually my favorite clown in the movie, because that's the one that lures the little girl, and the lore features in the game, which is great. And then of course he kills Officer Mooney in the movie. So that's my favorite part. That's my favorite scene in the movie, because it's really scary, and so I like running around bashing people with his mallet.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen. I've seen Tiny, and I've seen, Spiky. I haven't seen a Rudy or a Chubby.
Oh, they're there.
I haven't seen anybody playing with those guys yet.
You haven't figured out how to change characters yet.
No. I keep turning around in circles. I don't know.
And you can also turn them into female clowns too. You can customize them, so you can have a male version or a female version.
Which is a new level of scary, freaky.
Those weren't announced yet, so congratulations, Pax.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Wait a second, that wasn't on my list of things not to say.
Don't tell anybody.
I think I'm going to be cocooned tonight.
You know what? It's you got to let little things out of the bag. It's not going to ruin anything.
Yeah, I can't talk about my favorite clown because that hasn't been announced, and I'm not going to get in trouble after.
Oh, there you go. Smart.
I will.
But we do have a lot more clowns, a lot more content that we haven't talked about, which is really cool. So what you're seeing at here, all you have to do is honestly find these guys at the booth and talk to them, and you'll find out everything really.
Yeah.
But it is.
Buy a Kyoto Brother a drink. Who knows what you'll learn?
They made it, so we'll let them do it.
Oh, so wait a minute. So wait, are you saying that the game that they're playing now is going to be better by June?
Absolutely.
Oh yes,
Absolutely.
very much so. Yeah,
Jordan's going home, and that's all he's doing.
yeah.
But yeah, no,
great.
like it is just, if you have come and played it, it will be more. There is a lot more maps that we are going to be showing. There is a lot more stuff coming from us in the Kyotos, and there's going to be a lot more really elements of it. But you haven't said what your favorite clown is.
It's definitely Jumbo. Like Shorty's cool, but I think Jumbo has that iconic. It's just something about it. When I was watching it for the first time, I just recall that the puppeteering scene with Mooney. It was just such the most unsettling thing I think I felt out of that, and just something about his color scheme, and it just
Well,
works
actually,
so well.
the little tidbit, Jumbo is kind of the fan name for that character. Our name for that character on set was Killer.
Oh,
And don't forget, he put his hand in Mooney's back as a ventriloquist dummy. So that's pretty scary.
I think it's really interesting how, if I say to the people in this room, it'll sound crazy, but there will be people that find this game that haven't seen the movie, that might not even know that the movie exists, and this will be their first experience with Killer Klowns. What do you feel like that process is going to be like for them?
Well, I'm really interested in seeing how they react. I would imagine somebody who hadn't seen the film, when they experience the game, and then they do invariably see the film, they're going to say, hey, wait, they'll know that location, they'll know that spot, they'll know this thing, and they'll be, I think, more excited as they discover the similarity. And also for the people who are familiar with it, I've already seen it here at this venue, they say, oh, it's exactly like the movie. Oh, I was here and I was there, they do this and they do that. So it's going to kind of feed upon itself and only hopefully grow.
Yeah, people were unfamiliar with the movie and see this title. In some ways, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is, I think, be probably more accepted by the gaming community than perhaps maybe some of the motion picture viewers. That it's easily dismiss that title, but it's truth in advertising. You get what you're.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
It's all in the title. Someone did actually across the table say, I haven't seen Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Can you tell me what it's about? I said, it's about killer clowns from outer space.
We're going to take some questions from the audience. If you want to start lining up, we're going to do that as well. I just have something that one of my favorite things about it, because I've played a lot of asymmetrical games, and there's always that point where it feels like you have to stop playing, because if you're me, you died quickly, right? Or you died first or whatever. I just love the carnival games. I love the carnival games, and I just, if you want to speak, everyone is curious to everyone speak to that element of it, because it feels non-gameplay. But to me, it's going to be a huge part of it, and the creativity of that decision.
I mean, really, that came out of, and just kind of, when you die, you play these mini games, and you're able to help the people around you, either kind of like a guardian angel, and it's pretty fun. But it's also because of us making so many asymmetrical games that, as soon as you die, you alt tab out or you start matchmaking again. And we wanted to make sure that people were engaged and felt like they were still part of it, and so we made that system, and it's really cool. I mean, I think that we'll be putting it into every single game from this point on for sure, because we love multiplayer games. We love really looking at the game and previous games. How do we make that better? How do we make that better and iterate, versus like, oh, we'll just make the popular one version 0.5 per and 2, and so it is one of those really fun things where Klowns is definitely a return to form. It's kind of like our greatest hit album, where we're pulling from all of these previous games that we did, and Yeah, the mini game thing, that's new to us, but it's just, it changed my like, play, where I could be the last person, and normally you're like, oh, I've got 3v1, how am I going to survive this? But because you have these guardian angels, they're filling your pockets full of stuff, and you're able to make those mad dashes, and it's a game changer.
The amount of clutch moments that have happened in playtests that just, it's insane to see how something like that just turned into something so integral to the experience as a whole, and adding to the entire, the concept of what it means to be dead in a game. I think I'm really excited to see what people think of it.
All right, let's go ahead and take some questions. Let's start on this side.
Hey guys, I'm sure lots of you can attest to the fact that lots of horror movies nowadays kind of going full circle with the whole practical effect thing. And I'm sure a lot of you would agree that there's just nothing like the practical effects anymore, like the physical props, like the full latex suits, JoJo at the end of the movie just being like a puppet on like a tiny set. It just looks way better and way creepier behind the screen. And the modern technology and the CGI is great. I just don't think that the practical and the physical can be matched anytime soon. With that being said, is there plans or has there been talks about releasing the game physically on disc?
Well, that's not a question that I can answer.
I mean, let's ask Steven real quick.
What does your hand say? What does the back of your hand say?
I see a red signal.
The fact is, to get it on digital is much faster. So if we wanted to put it on physical, we would be sitting on it much longer. So don't throw it out the window, but right now, like, we want to get it out to the players versus sitting on, all of the things that we have to do to get it on physical. It's just kind of like, I'm sure someone's gonna be like, what would the second movie be? But it is one of those things where it's just, we're trying to get it out, and so we'll see what happens with that. But, I personally want a disc on the shelves. And
Well, I think it's kind of dependent on the fans. If you guys make it popular, you get what you want.
I'll buy it twice.
Go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. I just wanted to ask, I know that you guys you've designed a lot of creatures for the big screen and a couple other aliens that we all might know and love. I wanted to ask, do you think that the critters and clowns share the same universe?
Yeah, but they don't share the same producers. And that is the difficulty. I mean, trying to get Jason to fight with
Freddy.
Jason and Freddy was a nightmare of lawyers fighting and stuff like that. Yeah, we would love, to have clowns fighting the critters in a matchup, but
Bob Shea,
it depends on Bob Shea.
Bob Shea, the creator of New Line Cinema, who doesn't know anymore. He didn't like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
He didn't think comedy and horror worked.
Yeah.
No, that would be a great mashup.
It would be a great match. Yeah.
Who do you think would win?
That's kind of what I wanted to ask you. It's very hard, and it depends on if we're going to be seeing the bounty hunters, too.
Well, the body count in Killer Clowns is pretty high. We killed a lot of people in that movie.
And
The crew's going to have to pull some tricks out of their bag if they want to meet the killer clown.
And just one more thing, the noises from the Killer Clowns movie is actually one of the things that really stuck out to me. And even playing the game, I think the sound design was amazing. And I wanted to ask I noticed like a lot of the sounds are like laughter that's sort of like warped or altered. And I just wanted to ask if there was any additional, like maybe anything additional on the sound side from when you guys created the game, if you made new sounds or like how you guys sort of...
Who's doing that?
Did we get sounds from you guys, or did a lot of that get remade?
I think a lot of it got remade.
Yeah. Our sound team is top notch. Like they've remade so many sounds from so many iconic moments in movies. So definitely they hear it and they can parrot it really well. So I think that really from the past IP games that we made, it's like, here's an old tape that has the sound, and it's like, oh, this isn't gonna do. So I guarantee you, like anything that you're hearing, it's because their ears are so good and they're so talented to remake.
But from a sonic point of view, you do have some new music from John Massari, composer
Yep.
of the original score.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So, when working with the source material that you have, especially with something that's been so established and extremely, blissfully bizarre, what are the emotions like in the studio when having talks about like requirements, what you want to do, and then to the brothers, besides the touching, how intimate, how intimate were you with the development process, and was there like an aha moment?
Hands-on, but
And we have a lot of calls together. They're on Zoom, so that's a good one. But no, yeah, I mean, with us, we're constantly talking. But the way that Ilphonic works, and like a mantra really of our just game design is, we look at the IP that we want to work with. We literally turn down stuff so much where it's like this is something that I love. I love this IP, but how do we make a game? Like, we could just pick up X, Y, and Z, but like, it has to have a scene or an element of that movie that it feels like that. And so, for example, Klowns is the third scene. You can't surprise a gamer with a game called Killer Klowns and like, oh, surprise, they're coming to get you. Like, we started off, they're coming to get you. You need to escape. You need to evade and escape. The clowns need to just kill, kill, kill. So that is just the thing, and that's the mantra that we go into with all of our games. Like, it must be, a scene that someone can replay over and over and over again.
Yep, and you asked about the emotion. The emotion's excitement, like to be able to work with things that they, that the hard work has really been done in a lot of ways of creating this world, and we're able to explore what it means to interact with it. So it just comes down to the fact that like this is something we're building that we get to play and interact with these other creative minds that have brought so much into this franchise. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, embracing collaboration with creative minds works. When you have somebody saying, would you like to do Killer Klowns from Outer Space for TV show? And they say, well, yeah, but it's Killer Klowns. Can we make them friendly? And we go, make your own show.
But that's something that I learned in our collaboration, that we come from a narrative storytelling point of view. And very early we learned that that's not what the gameplay is about. But I think the guys captured exactly what our third act is. Once you know the clowns are invading, you have to escape or kill them. And that's what the game is. You're immersed in that third act of our movie.
yeah, so we really leaned on them. TerraVision started and Ilphonic brought it home. The gameplay side, we just gave them little nudges, artistic, creative, just the cosmetic veneer and attitude of some of the gameplay. But in terms of like hardcore mechanics and interactions, that's all them.
Yeah, no one playing the game or a character in the game thinks that clowns are friendly.
Right. And for, I guess one more thing, did you have like an aha moment when working with the development team to where it was like, this is going to work out?
A lot of it.
So
When the first time they brought the game over to our studios and we got to play it live with the team, they were kicking our ass because we suck. But it was amazing to be in that world, even in its rudimentary stage at that point. We were in the world, playing as clowns, playing as humans. That interaction, that terror, that fear was real.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Go ahead.
Hey, just a quick question. Any chance we're going to see Clownzilla in the game?
I was Clownsville.
But I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
I'm already in trouble.
You know what?
I'm turning my microphone off.
Sometimes you can't. I'm thinking that there's so much stuff going on in this game. To squeeze something else, again, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen.
There you go. Go ahead.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, it really, just to explain it, we are focusing on that third act, and the third act is the survival and escape. You know, everyone wants those big moments, but those take months and months and months of development, and it takes away from that scene, that experience. So we have to have things sit on the cutting room floor, to say the least.
Everything in its own time.
Just to start off, playing the game on the show floor, it's incredible. I can't wait for full release. With Texas Chainsaw Massacre recently coming out, I feel like it's kind of bringing it back in, where like some people might have gotten sick of Dead by Daylight, but Texas Chainsaw is like bringing the actual like big titles back into popularity. So I'm really excited to see where Killer Klowns goes from. But I have two quick hits for movie questions for the Kyoto brothers. What was the Cocoons made out of, like practically, and how did the partnership with the Dickies for the song come about?
Well, the Cocoons were basically, we made a little template, a cardboard template, crisscross thing, and we wrapped batting fabric around it. It's a white cotton batting. It was in sheets, and it was laminated, so I'd make really thin sheets and wrap it 3 or 4 times. We hung them up, and we painted the fabric, and then we wrapped them. And that's as simple as that. The caps were made of, they were vacuum-formed pieces that we just, taped off and painted. It was as simple as that. And then we put some green hose on it.
And if you ever should stumble upon somebody claiming that they have a real cocoon from the movie, surefire way is to open it up and read the date on the newspaper inside of it. If it says 1987, it's real.
There you go.
Yeah, and the music, I wish we could take more credit for it, other than coming up with the title. We had a great music supervisor at Transworld Entertainment who knew the Dickies record company, and he pitched the record company with just like the best little paragraph of description of what the vibe of the movie was. And then Leonard Phillips did a demo of the movie and the song, and they played it for us, and it was perfect. It was as is. We really had, other than the inspiration in the title, and just the description that Bob Hunker, our music supervisor, gave. It's all the Dickies.
Awesome, thank you.
We only have like 3 minutes left, and I want to try and get as many people to ask as possible. So let's do this.
So you say you're going to be expanding Killer Klowns into a sort of clown verse. Did you have any ideas for like rodeo clowns?
You're thinking my way. That's exactly it. The original idea came from really perverting what we have in normal society. We have clowns at McDonald's. We have clowns everywhere, and we just put a spin on it. So if there are rodeo clowns, and I would imagine that's a good way to go.
No Harlequin is safe.
Yeah. It's another, again, the Western audience, the country Western audience will love that. So,
wait to see what they do to mimes.
No bull.
Real quickly, the actor who really sold the movie for me was the pharmacist, Howard Malpas. I wonder if you have any stories about him.
Oh, he was a local.
He was not allowed to speak because we paid him as an extra.
It really tied my hands as a director, I'm telling you. He was great.
Actually, and it's funny, he played Mr. Myers, which was the name of the pharmacist in the town where we grew up in Deer Park, Long Island.
Like all the other characters, Mike Tobacco and the Terenzi brothers are really good friends of mine. In fact, I'm going to visit them next week in New York. He was a great little actor. It was local talent. We were up in Santa Cruz and Watsonville in California, and he was great. It's not his voice, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but he was reminiscent of the Mr. Myers, the druggist, when we grew up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really quickly, how many original Killer Klowns props, costumes, or puppets remain that were used as reference for Ilphonic? And how many original Killer Klowns remain or have they all just been converted into the Ernest Scared Stupid trolls?
6.
Yeah, I don't know if we had any. I do know that we didn't have any costumes to show them. All the reference came from just photos and some basically watching the movie.
Yeah, it was frame by frame analyzing the movie. Though they did show some clown skeletons, which were pretty fun early on in the development.
How many trolls are left from Ernest?
I meant the bones and the digital bones that the models are made on.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, real quick question for the brothers. Considering how difficult it is to get 3 brothers to agree on anything, much less get into business together, was there one singular inciting incident that made you guys decide to want to get into the movie industry, or was it one person running into the kitchen going, "Hey guys, we got to make a movie"?
No, it was a single movie that gets you. You watch a monster movie. We each had a different one. Mighty Joe Young for me is
King Kong for me.
Yeah, that's 2001: A Space Odyssey for me. But it's really a love of monsters, and really kind of the pinnacle one is the original King Kong. Is the one that is kind of probably the most the touchstone that we all kind of gravitated toward.
See, we could have been inspired by baseball, and if we didn't make the major leagues, we could have made baseball movies.
Yeah, and then the fact that it's often said we share one brain.
Yeah, and to talk about King Kong, stop motion was also one of the techniques that we really gravitate to, and Clownzilla was supposed to be stop motion animation. It was supposed to be all King Kong, but because of budget restrictions and time, we ended up doing a Toho version, which was a man in a suit. But I think it was really great. Charlie did a great performance, blind.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much to the Kyoto brothers for coming out and doing this with us. Jordan, Jared, thank you so much. If you haven't already checked it out, check out the show floor. I would never tell you this otherwise, but look for the circus tent and head there to try the game. Thank you, everybody.